Hey guys, so it's time for another review of the following. I'm just gonna go ahead and warn you that I'm gonna use the word crazy a lot in this review, because this show is crazy. That's one. So at the beginning of the episode, right, we see Joe. He is not looking well. We know that Claire stabbed him in the last episode, and he just looks awful. We can see him trying to like rebandage his wound, but the blood is seeping through, so you know he's not doing well on that front. He looks pale and drawn, and we see he's drinking a lot and taking lots of pain pills, basically. The creepy, crazy thing, right, too, is that we see him watching the sex tape between Ryan and Molly, this other kind of follower of his. And he's watching this one part over and over again because Ryan says something on the tape. He says to Molly, like, you can't kill me because I'm already dead. And we see Joe, like, playing that part over and over and over again. And obviously, you know, the whole cult and the following thing, like, Joe has this obsession with death. Basically, we see from Joe and his followers as well that he's finally kind of putting this plan into motion. So you see him at the house with his followers kind of giving them a last pep talk, and them kind of reassuring Joe, like, we know the plan, we've gone over it 100 times, we're ready. Now, one thing that I didn't put together last week was, of course, the FBI now has Joey. Joey knows where the house is at, or at least knows what the house looks like. And so they get this great description about the house from him, and they go on the hunt for this house. They're looking through property records and all that stuff, but we know that Roderick kind of doctored the records to try to hide the house, but eventually they find it. They show up at the house, and it is empty, all except for this man who is hanging there. And the super creepy part about this guy is that that was his part in the plan, was to just be hanging there in the house, and he did that, like, willfully, which is just kind of crazy. Now, Joe takes Claire, and Jacob and Emma are with him, and they go off and they're hiding in this couple's house. Initially, I guess this couple wasn't supposed to be home, but they are home, and of course this turns out to be like a really bad day for them as they're held captive by a serial killer. And it was just really weird, right? Because you've got these two couples. You've got this married couple who's really scared, and then you've got Joe and Claire, and she's tied up or whatever. And at one point, Joe even like cooks them all dinner, and it's like we're sitting here having some sort of couples double date type of thing, and it was really, really weird. But at one point, you know, Claire 2.0 kicks into action. I can't tell you guys, I mean, like, Claire has just been my hero for the last like 2 or 3 episodes. They really easily could have made her this kind of like whiny wife who's just like, oh, let me go, and I want to be with my son, and oh my gosh, woe is me. But instead, they have just made her absolutely kick-ass awesome. She's been fantastic in the last couple of episodes. So in this episode, you know, she finally convinces Joe to untie her. She kind of reassures the other couple, like, it's gonna be okay, you know, we're gonna figure a way to get out of here. And sure enough, you know, she takes her opportune moment. The police come to the door because they're doing house-to-house searches, and Emma, in all of her Emma glory, basically just shoots them. And while she and Jacob are dealing with the bodies, Claire uses the moment and basically stabs Joe again in the same spot with a fork. It was so awesome. And unties the couple, and they all run. By the end of the episode, they recapture her because Joe sends Emma and Jacob out to get Claire, but the couple, you know, they do manage to get away, so that was good. Let's talk about Jacob, because he is at the point where he is really kind of doubting, you know, like all throughout the episode you see him kind of like going to Emma and like, are you sure we should do this? We should leave. This is crazy. We're gonna die. And I don't really get why he's trusting Emma again. I really don't, because this woman, I just don't like her. And he knows that she will betray him. Like, she'll do anything for Joe, and he knows that. But I think the problem is he's in love with her, and so he tries to get her to come with him. Meanwhile, the other cult members, you know, Joe has activated this kind of final plan, and they're really a distraction to help Joe to escape. So they basically go into the belly of the beast, you know, these cult members. The first thing they do is they go out in front of the police station where the FBI is at, and this crazy girl, I can't remember what her name was. I think she said her name was Annabelle Lee, but I don't remember if that was her real name. But she basically stabs a reporter after saying something creepy, you know, like an Edgar Allan Poe-ish on the news. She stabs and kills a reporter. So they pull her inside, and Ryan tries to question her, but, you know, she's all kinds of crazy, you guys. So how do you question a person who's, like, off their rocker? And she basically tells him Claire's gonna die so that you can be reborn. Then, you know, after Joe leaves them a little clue at the house, he leaves this Edgar Allan Poe book, right, with this tiny note to Ryan inside of it. But he leaves it bookmarked, right? So the place where he leaves it bookmarked bookmarked is this Edgar Allan Poe story called The Mask of the Red Death. And so Ryan starts to try to think, okay, what does this mean? And this is a clue and we need to figure it out. So the FBI heads to this kind of evacuation, kind of safe zone center that they've set up for the local residents. It's full of people. It's like a gymnasium. But of course, we can't tell who's a follower or who's not a follower. And then all hell breaks loose. So like you see people like hatcheting people in the back. I mean, it was totally crazy. And like Ryan is there and Mike and they're trying to save people. By the end, you know, the followers end up killing people. Some of them end up dying. People get injured. And then some of them more than likely got away. I think at one point they determined there was probably about 30 to 40 people living in the house with Joe. So we don't know where the rest of those people went or what the rest of the plan is. I'm guessing we'll learn that next week. Also, some of the followers managed to capture Agent Parker. They take her out into the middle of nowhere and they bury her alive. So I'm sure we'll be seeing the conclusion of that next week, which of course is the season finale. Okay, so let's talk about the kicker at the end, you guys, right? So Emma and Jacob take Joe and Claire to this marina. There's a boat there waiting for them, so Joe and Claire get on this boat. And that leaves Emma and Jacob to kind of head to the checkpoint to kind of meet up with the rest of the followers for phase 2 of the plan. But Jacob is really just kind of like, Emma, let's go. We could leave now. We've got a car. We could run. It's me and you. I love you, blah, blah, blah. And again, I don't know why he trusts this woman. By the end of the conversation, Emma pretty much tells him, look, I love you, but I also love Joe and I don't want to choose, so I'm gonna kill you. And so she cuts his throat and strokes his face as he sits there and bleeds out. I mean, it was like so super disturbing and crazy, you guys. Now, his death really makes me wonder what season 2 is going to be about. I mean, like, is it still going to be Ryan chasing Joe Carroll? Because basically all of his followers are dead, and he is, like, on death's door. Joe is. So it just makes me wonder, are we going to, like, solve this case, you know, at the end of the season and move on to something new, or be chasing followers in season 2? I don't know. And I kind of like that about this show. You guys, it was a crazy episode, and I was definitely a little disturbed by it last night. I mean, like, to the point where it was like, I need to take a step back, and I need to watch some unicorns and cartoons or something to, like, calm myself before I go to bed, because it was just like, it was a lot. It was crazy. Okay, guys, if you watched The Following, tell me what you guys thought about last night's episode down in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out my review of last week's episode of The Following, go ahead and click the video link here. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye!